I'm Emma Mitchell, and I'm an energy healing guide. And I'm here with Juliana today, and she's going to tell us a story about a spirit in her apartment. Go ahead, Juliana, tell us your story.
Hi, yes, I'm Juliana. I live in Massachusetts and I have a spirit whose name I believe is Gladys who lives in my apartment. I have a little old woman who I believe is from the nursing home that used to exist across the street from my apartment where I live. And she is like this like little comforting kind of like motherly spirit that is looking out for me and my dog Myrtle. And definitely, I have seen her throw little temper tantrums because she needs some attention because she's been doing some hard work around here, taking care of Myrtle, making sure Myrtle and my past dog Elaine were taken care of and soothed and comfortable in my apartment. And I've seen her like throw things off of doors, like decorative items, which has been very interesting because the first time I was like, I don't know if that really happened. And then the next two times I was like, okay, yeah, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And she also is like very much so just like looking out for me. There's this like kind of calming, like motherly presence that I can feel in my apartment. And when I come back, because when I'm away, my dog stays with my aunt and uncle. And usually I'll come back first, and then Myrtle will come back with my dog the next day. The spirit feels very anxious that Myrtle has not come back with me. And as soon as Myrtle is back, everything is like fine. It's very just like kind of like a calming presence, this spirit. And I like having her around. I'm not mad about it. And I think she's very cute. And I used to work in elderly care too. So I think that's probably part of the reason, as well as the nursing home being directly across the street from me, that this spirit kind of like exists and feels safe, I guess, existing in this space.
Oh, that's such a great story. So, when did you move into your apartment?
2017, February of 2017.
Okay, so she's been with you for a while now.
Yeah, yeah. I could kind of feel that she was someone who was like had passed away probably I'm gonna guess like probably like the 90s or like the early 2000s. Like she had been here for a hot minute and probably had been like bebopping in and out of here. And as far as I'm aware, the people who lived in this apartment before me were not the most savory of humans. So I could kind of I want to guess that she felt a little bit res like not great with them. And then came into this space and felt good being in here when my dog currently right now is a little bit more like spastic, shall we say, than my past dog, Elaine, who was just like very calm, like very, very, very calm and very chill. And I'm just like a generally like chill human being for the most part. So I think that she felt safe coming into this space and it's just kind of stuck around since then.
That's such a good story. Actually, I just made a video a few weeks ago about how I had an apartment with a little boy ghost who was
Oh.
just, he was fun and he was just a little kid. And
Mm-hmm.
every time I would meditate, though, he would do this in front of my face.
Oh
And it
no.
was just annoying, but
Yeah.
my animals would follow him around. And a
Mm-hmm.
lady who had psychic abilities too confirmed to me that, yes, he was a little boy. And,
Mm-hmm.
he was fine being there, but I eventually helped him move on. But I've also encountered so many spirits that are protector spirits for us or protectors for the home.
Yeah.
And it's okay to leave them, they're okay
Yeah.
there unless they tell you they want to move on. Um,
Yeah. She doesn't seem unhappy as far as I'm aware. Like she seems like very content and like being kind of like a housekeeper, like she's
yeah.
here to just like keep the score, make sure the house is like taken care of. If she feels like a very motherly figure to me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, before we started recording this, I had said, I'm gonna do a reading for you. And instantly I started feeling like, oh, she's in the room now. So she's been
Mm.
sitting here next to me this whole time. It's funny when you said 1990s that she told me that before you said it. So I
Oh,
thought that
okay.
was, you have some strong skills if you're picking up all this information.
Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool,
Because
cool, cool.
because I see her, she's in a wheelchair. She's very, yeah, she's a
Mm.
grandmotherly figure. And the image I'm seeing of her is like petting a little dog. Do you have a little dog? Is your dog bigger?
She's like a medium-sized dog. So I would
Okay.
Myrtle is a dog where she's a pit bull, but she's a dog where
Okay.
when people meet her for the first time, their first reaction generally is, "Oh, she's smaller than I thought she was."
Oh, okay. No, this isn't the image. I'm seeing like oh gosh, like a Jack
Like a
Russell or
little,
something like that that she's
yeah,
like petting in her
yeah.
lap.
Yeah,
So
I
not
imagine
your dog.
that's probably her dog, I would
Mm-hmm.
imagine. Because
Yeah.
she feels like to me someone who had in her past life, probably before she moved into the nursing home, a dog that she was caring for who was probably there to me. This is my guess. Um, I imagine she was married, she had kids, but I think her animal was like her number one like best friend, and her husband probably passed away prior to her, and this was like her last like her like partner was her pet.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see what information I can get from her. She definitely has a strong presence to her. Um, so I'm seeing she is showing me a wedding ring. So
Hmm.
yes, but shaking head no on kids.
No
So
kids.
kid,
Okay.
so dog kid, right? Like
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah,
totally
that's her
makes
kid.
sense.
Hmm.
And I'm seeing her with like a blanket over her legs, definitely in the wheelchair, white hair, maybe a bun. Do you ever see a visual of her like in your head?
I imagine her as like a short little woman who just kind of like, I imagine her like kind of floating around, which could be how she's
Hmm.
presenting herself to me. Maybe not with the wheelchair, or just like sitting with my dog, like sitting on the bed with my dog, just kind of like
Yeah.
petting her, which could be why she's like not in the wheelchair. Though now that I'm thinking about it, like I envision her like sitting next to the bed in the wheelchair, or in some type of chair potentially. So maybe that's the wheelchair right there, which would make a lot of sense to me because she feels like someone who's just kind of like wheeling around a little bit, just kind
Yeah.
of like bebopping and like putzing around the apartment,
Yeah.
just making sure everything is like as it should be.
Yeah, yeah. She definitely, like I said, she has a very strong presence. And usually when I encounter that, it's like somebody with a bit of a fiery energy, even
Hmm.
in real life,
Hmm.
before they passed on. Let me just see if I can't get anything else. So I think I'm getting sort of like 1993, 1995 of past date. And yes, on the nursing home. I'm trying to get if she was like local or if she was from out of town.
Mm.
And I'm getting local.
Yeah, I mean it's this is an area too where most people grow up, and I'm kind of like one of the
Mm,
oddities that I didn't grow up here. I will
okay.
also add too that like I am single and I don't have any kids, nor do I want any kids. I'm also unmarried, but my dog kind of is like my child in a way.
Yeah.
So this could be possibly why she identifies with me a little bit more too,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we share some
Yeah.
things.
I'm gonna ask her if there's anything she wants you to know right now or um even about the tantrums, although we probably know about the tantrums, but
Mm.
um
She works hard around the apartment to make sure that Myrtle stays in line and like things aren't too messy when I get back.
yeah. Um all I'm seeing is like this weird visual of like her petting you. Like,
That
like
makes sense. Like
this,
just yeah, just kind of like a soothing, comforting presence.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Like she definitely provides that in this apartment. Just kind of like creating a safe space, you know. Feeling like, okay, when I come here, I'm coming back home, and like just feeling like this is a space that is protected by someone or something.
Yeah, and I'm also getting the sense that maybe she wanted kids, and so you're kind of like the kid
Yeah.
she couldn't have or whatever. So that's really nice though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like having her around. I'm not mad about it.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you want me to ask her right now?
I guess maybe if she has any requests for me, like that would be nice to know if I should be doing anything differently, if she has any.
I don't, maybe I'm making this up, but I'm seeing her like swiping the crumbs off the counter.
Oh yeah, I should probably clean the counter. I gotta clean this. The stove needs to be cleaned. I'll get to it, okay?
Yeah, I guess she must have been pretty cleanly, you know, in
Hmm.
her waking life too. That's funny. Okay,
Yeah.
well, um I'm asking if her name is Gladys, and she said no, but she likes Gladys, so that's okay. You can keep
Okay.
calling her that.
If she has a different name, that's fine too. If she prefers another name, like her given name, that's fine too.
She's saying she likes it. She likes Gladys, so we'll keep
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay. it felt like it fit. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that we approve.
Yeah, she's thumbs up. Okay.
Okay,
All
cool.
right. Well, I'm gonna thank um Gladys as she's been named for being with us today and for chatting with us and keep Juliana safe. We
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah, we keep her around. She's a nice lady.
Okay, cool. Well, good. I'm glad that we were able to do that. Is there,
Yeah.
I know we talked a little bit about energies or sensitivities. Did you have another story you want to share or anything about feeling sensitive? Because I definitely have the sensitivity in certain
hmm
areas too.
Yeah, I guess my like recent story around this, like and like findings about myself is that I didn't realize that other people don't experience the world like this. Um, I've since realized in the last at least the last like 8 years since I started therapy, but specifically in the last like 5 or 6 months that like I'm just on like a different level of empathy that other people are not. I'm like feeling things that other people are not. And I think like a couple of the things that have like really like hammered that home have been like experiences where I go to share like big communal spaces and I just get like emotionally overwhelmed by the spirit, like the spirits and the energies that are there. Like I know I shared with you, like specifically like Ellis Island, like I had to like walk out of those buildings because it's just like there's so much like pent up anxiety that's living in those buildings because of like the hundreds of thousands of people that came through that building and were like sick or hurt or just nervous to get through customs. Like it just and that like whooshing feeling of like fast moving anxiety kind of like coming and going and coming and going and coming and going. And then also when I was in Berlin, I stayed in at an Airbnb that like there was definitely someone who had lived in that Airbnb and it's some kind of energy or spirit that was still there that was just like anxious and like waiting for something to find them and was like scared to death of whatever was going to find them. And like it was just telling me to get out like as soon as I got in there. Um, and that like it was waiting for something to find it and it was not a fun energy. And that city is just a city that is just like wrought with a lot of like destruction and negativity and like bad things that have happened to it. And that whole city is just like reeking with just like a terrible energy. Um, but like I reached the point of like mental overload while I was there. I just like couldn't process it anymore because it was just too much. Not from like any interactions I had with like living humans, but just from like the energies that were like stored in the streets and the sewers and the buildings of that place. It was just so much. But yeah, like I've kind of realized like, oh yeah, other people don't like live on this level. Not that there's anything bad or good about like different levels of existence, on like the feeling of like empathies and spirits and energies and things like that. But like I'm just like, oh yeah, this is not everyone's experience, Juliana, but you thought it was, and now we just kind of have to explore that space a little bit more.
I appreciate everything you said there, and I have a bunch of questions that I'll ask in a
Yeah.
minute. But I'm the same as you in that I experience everybody else's energy and spirit
Mm-hmm.
energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm in a space that has bad energy or, just heaviness, I can feel it and it makes me
Yeah.
uncomfortable. And you could even see it. It makes me start to feel very sick.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn myself how to protect my own energy, how to keep out that spirit energy. And it's actually one of the first things I teach anybody I work with when I teach them how to tap into their psychic skills because it's so
Mm-hmm.
important. People like
Yeah.
us, we have to learn how to, put up our bubble, put up this protection so that we don't get, moved around by everybody else, but also the spirits that might want to communicate with us that we don't want around. So
Yeah.
I'm so curious though on the Airbnb, did you
Mm-hmm.
hear this ghost talking to you? Was it like a Jewish person or what was your
I
sense of that?
I don't know who it was, but I could tell they were trying to hide.
Mm,
Like that was the vibe was that they were like trying, I could like feel them in like the crevices of the apartment, like the corners, like trying to hide. And I think like it just kind of came to me as like a voice of like get out and just like this overwhelming sense of like fear that something was coming from them for them. and that there was an anxiety of like that something was after them. What exactly, I'm not sure. Again, we come back to the fact that there are a lot of things that went after a lot of people in Berlin. It could have been any number of things or a combination of things, you know. But I could feel that they were hiding, and they didn't really want to come out and show themselves fully because they were not trust. I was someone that they didn't trust,
Yeah.
because I was American. I don't speak German. Like they have no idea who I am. I'm a new person to the space and also the country. And so for me, it was just, I think they were really trying to hide as best they physically could and to just let me know that like something was coming and that I should leave.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a fun overnight stay.
No, no, no. The long and the short of that trip is that I ended up leaving early anyway. I ended up getting a UTI. I was like, I had to go to a German hospital, which was not advisable, you know. So I cut my trip short and I came home. So that the spirit got what it wanted. I don't know if that was part of the plan, but I did not stay in that Airbnb nearly as long at all as I had originally planned on. So which I just like, it was interesting for me too because the sense of relief I felt like as soon as I like changed my flights and like I knew I was leaving the next day and like every like mile that I got further and further away from that place and Berlin in general, like my body just like was like letting out a sigh of relief with every single step that I took away.
Wow. Okay, so maybe your body was reacting to all that stress too, or the overwhelming pressure of the energy and
I
made you
think so.
sick.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a real thing. I mean, I've done so many house clearings for people where there's a spirit or there's like a parasitic entity in there and they have weird medical stuff. And
Yeah.
once we clear it out, the medical stuff goes away. So it could have been just the energy of Berlin was like stressing your body out so much.
Yeah, I think it threw off like all like just all the I think a lot of it was like all the different negative energies that were coming. Like we have like the Berlin Wall, obviously World War II, like all of the terrible things that have happened in Germany kind of like came together in Berlin essentially over like decades. And so just like all of those things and the anxieties and like the just negative energies. I mean, you can feel it walking through the streets too, and you can see it in the way that other people interact with each other. Like the general vibe of Berlin is not wanting to be mentally present with a beer in one hand and a cigarette in the other. So two main like coping
Oh,
mechanisms to get you out of your brain and out of the city while you're still standing there. So it's definitely an energy that even radiates out to like people who aren't like aware of what they're feeling because it's just such a prominent energy that it's just like reeking out of the tiles of the streets.
wow. Boy, I've never been to Berlin, but you're not selling it for me right now.
I'm not going back.
Wow,
I'm
that's so
good.
interesting. Yeah, I was just talking to somebody the other day about a city I used to live in, and she was saying when she goes there and when she
Hmm.
leaves, it feels like this energetic bubble. And
Yeah.
I've said the same thing, and my boyfriend said the same thing too, that specific, I'm not going to say where it is because I still know people there. I don't want them to get mad at me, but
Yeah.
it's like when you are there, you just feel like the weight of the world is pressing down on you. And as soon
Hmm.
as you leave, you can feel it. And this person was telling me this weekend, she feels it. It's like a
Yeah.
certain spot where you're like, oh, okay, I can breathe
Hmm.
again. Yeah,
Hmm.
I can only
Hmm.
imagine in Berlin what that was like, though.
Yeah. I mean, I've also experienced that too on a positive side of things. Like
Yeah.
so Cape Cod where I live, like there are two bridges because Cape is technically technically kind of an island. There's a canal that separates the Cape from the rest of Massachusetts. So it's technically its own landmass, so it's counted as part of Massachusetts. But you have to go over one of two bridges to get to the Cape. And or take a boat. And as soon as I go over the bridge, like there's just like the vibe shift is like it turns into like chill, cool, like calm vacation land. Like those are the vibes, and it's just such a something I look forward to every single time I come back. Like it's my own like mental like sense of like, oh, I'm home now, but it's also that like shared energy of like, oh, we're on vacation. Like it's kind of like now because it's just like it's a place where people come like from across the world to vacation. So it has that vibe. And that energy that's stored in here from like decades and probably centuries, honestly, of people treating it as a vacation place. And I'm like, that's a vibe I can get behind. And this is why I love living here because like people here are just like, we're all putting out like a more generally like chill, let's just hang out energy. And it's a nice time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's so cool. One of my friends and I, several years ago, we went to different places to feel the different energies of like, how does
Uh-huh.
this feel in my body? How does this
That's
feel in
kind of
my body?
fun.
And we could feel, and we were going to all these places because I'm originally from Michigan, of like
Hmm.
all these places where there were Native American villages and different
Oh,
like cemeteries or where they were forcibly
yeah.
removed and stuff like that. And
Uh-huh.
we could feel is like
Yeah.
this place, oh, we're gonna throw up. It's like this gut
Yeah.
wrenching or this extreme sadness or even like
Hmm.
the high supportive like oh they've been cared for here, they've been honored in this area.
Hmm.
So it was really interesting to feel into those sensations that
Yeah.
you were doing, now, because at the time
Yeah.
I didn't have that much awareness of what's a good energy, what's a bad energy. It just
Hmm.
felt overwhelming all the time.
Yeah. It's definitely
Yeah.
interesting too, because I've definitely had those experiences where I can define the emotion. Like I go to a space and I feel the energy and I can define the emotion and I can like vaguely say, like I said with like the apartment, and someone was like someone's hiding from something. I can like vaguely say what happened there. I was like or I'll be like, it feels like X, Y, and Z happened here. And then I'll go look up the history and it'll be like a more defined version of what I said. And I'm like, that's weird. Uh like I'll be like, oh, it feels like there was a war here, and then someone I'll go look it up of like I'll be like war in X city in this like this in this state, and then they'll be like, yes, there was a war here in like 1755, and this was the name of it, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay, uh-huh, weird. I'm here
Not
for it
weird.
though.
You have psychic abilities. Yeah.
I guess I'm taking up witchery. That's what I'm kind of calling it. Like, which is just like a different like there's I feel like there's just many ways of like just calling something like that you can feel like energies and vibes and like utilizing like being able to channel those somehow. Um like and being able to like use those energies to either like read the energies or like push that energy into something. Like you mentioned like the herbs and I mentioned the teas. Like I'm started making like teas that have like feelings associated with them, like confidence tea, enthusiasm tea, things where it's like, and I'm giving the tea a pep talk before I give it to people. So that way it's like not only is the tea formatted to like like kind of inspire certain feelings based off of the flavor profile, but also like it's being has like intentions like given to it before it's given to the person. So but being able to like do that like and like regardless if that's like actually something I can do or not, like intention is like a really big thing and just even labeling it as such and telling people like, oh, this is confidence tea, like people are more willing to kind of like give it like believe in that too and like follow that energy, which I feel like is like the biggest thing when it comes to these things. It's like calls to like and like whatever direction you want to you kind of think in is probably the direction you're going to go in. So that's kind of
Wow.
my thoughts.
There's actually studies done on blessing water. So they've
Mm,
studied, and I apologize, I don't know the research on this, but you can look it up.
I
But
don't
they've
know.
studied that if somebody puts love and blessings into a water, like a glass of water or whatever, they will see it in the molecules. It
Yeah.
moves differently. So there is something to that. And it's that where
Mhm.
focus flows, energy goes. So I love that
Yeah.
you're putting almost like blessings or mantras
Yeah.
or, good vibes into that stuff. I mean, I'm an energy healer, so energy
Yeah.
is real. It does when
Oh
I
yeah.
send certain energy to people that's the energy they receive. But yeah, but you also have psychic ability. So I'm just gonna say, if you ever want to learn to work with your spirit guides, let me know because you definitely have them just based on the strong knowing you have and in recognizing that, wow, that really happened in that place. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've just started like any kind of like actual like realization into this like a month or two ago. It hasn't been a long time. Like I've known that I'm like an energy based, like vibes based human for like at least a couple, like identified like with that. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm your favorite vibe based human, everyone. For a while now. But I think honestly, doing like public speaking has really like showed me, and like I announce our local races here. And like recently this year, the all of our race runners dubbed me, instead of the MC, I'm the MV, the Master of Vibes. And like I was telling people, I was like, I'm just channeling whatever energy that is given to me by the volunteers and the other staff, like back out to everyone. And my friends like, Juliana, that's like kind of witchery almost. I'm like, yes, ha, we love it. But like it's that like I'm gonna call it like energy farming almost, that like I guess I've been doing for a while, and just like kind of like sucking in like the energy that's out there and kind of like r filtering it, repackaging it and sending it back out, that like I didn't realize I was doing, and now I'm like, oh, I do that all the time. And it's something that is just not something that everyone does. I was like, everyone does this. But I guess they don't, and that's completely fine. But I'm just, yeah, just kind of recognizing the things that I'm doing already that are kind of along those lines and just giving them names now.
Well, one of the things that I teach in my workshops actually is pushing your energy out, which is what you're doing, right? But like
Yeah.
pushing out the good vibes, pushing out the good energy into a space,
Hmm.
it really does work and it's real. So
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're around somebody who's frustrated or angry or whatever, push out the good energy and push your bubble, like your energetic bubble way, way, way out,
Hmm.
and you're gonna see their mood changes. So you can do
Oh,
that in
yeah.
a big space too, or at a race. I guess it's a
Yeah.
lot, but pushing it all out over those people, it's a real thing. You're
Oh,
giving
yeah.
the good, you're pushing the light onto the dark. Yeah.
I, it's interesting to me to like see, like, because I can almost isolate it, because I've only been announcing our local marathon for about 4 years. Actually, yeah, 4 years now. And each year I'm getting more comfortable in it, and more like kind of like I'm definitely like my like internal like glow for it has grown and grown and grown. Like it is something like I describe it as, have you seen the movie Soul from Pixar?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm jazzing more and more and more every single year. And like you can like I imagine myself as like Dumbledore with the little glow in his eye, but also like I imagine that I'm like glowing energy out of my soul. Like you can feel it when you come up to me during this whole weekend. But like I can actively see how like my energy and like the glow inside of me has like I can feel it like reverberating out like physically, and like how just like me as one person has like changed the vibe of the entire event in such a positive way. And like I know it's me because I'm the only announcer, and like people come back to me every year, and like more and more people come back to me every year and are like, "Oh my God, you changed our whole race." Like that energy you gave, like I have like so many DMs because I do our social media too, from people who are just like coming to me being like, your energy changed my entire race. And
Wow.
I'm just like, that's great, because I don't lose anything from it. If anything, I get even more back from it. Like I'm giving someone like 10% and I'm getting back 150. So that's cool with me. Like you can like I'm happy to give more. It's a nice time.
Wow. But that's the power of energy. You're
Yeah.
this entire story, this is the power of when we feel good to push it out to
Hmm.
help others feel good. When we feel better, when we're helping ourselves, when we're doing better inside
Hmm.
ourselves, we're helping and healing the world. We're
Oh
not
yeah.
being selfish. We're being better for us is being better for others. So just the
Hmm.
fact that you're doing this and you're even just seeing it is, I just love
Yeah.
it. It's like it's such a result of what you're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, I actually like, I mean, it's funny too, because I started race announcing because I listened to a podcast of a woman, a running podcast, a woman who started race announcing, and I find like her and I have a lot in common, but uh, she is definitely some kind of like spiritual, like people like gather around this woman because she has such a positive energy around her, and is so welcoming and kind. And like her and I are like very similar in a lot of ways. And like she started race announcing, and I was like, oh, that is exactly something that I would want to do. And so then I like volunteered to do it. And like it's like you can see it from the things, the work that she does locally. She's up in New Hampshire, and the work that like I do locally, like we are creating community. We are creating positive energy. We are like sharing that positive energy with people so that way like they have a good time. Like this, even like this year at the marathon, we had a nor'easter blow through on the day of the marathon. We didn't get a single bad review because people like it was I was out there the whole time too because I'm in the announcing booth the entire time. It was like 40 degrees with like torrential rain like going sideways. Like our tents were getting blown over. Not a single person had a negative thing to say because like collectively our team puts on such a good race that no matter what the weather is, like the vibes are high, it's a good time, and like everyone leaves having a nice time. And I think that's like really like the energy of the race is like good.
Yeah.
And I like to say that I'm definitely a part of that. And it's really wonderful. And that's my Christmas, my New Year's, and my Thanksgiving and my Halloween all rolled into one every year. It's my favorite weekend of the entire year. And there's a reason for that because that's where I get recharged.
Yeah.
And anytime that like I'm having a bad day, I like look back at some of the messages that I've saved to my phone or like I think about that weekend and it like recharges my soul so much every single year.
You're in your purpose.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh man. Boy, I really liked talking to you, Juliana. This was awesome. And I'm excited to see where you go with this because when I first was interested in psychic work or energy work, it was like all the right people were put in the right place for me and it just built and built. So I know I see you like you're on the beginning of your journey with us and
Oh
you're
yeah.
gonna do
Very
some
exciting.
amazing stuff. So we'll have to check back in a year, talk about
Yeah.
it again. Well,
I was
awesome.
I'm very excited and thank you for having me.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for being on here. I just started doing these and I was like, I love ghost stories. Hopefully other people do too, and they're not scary.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ghosts come in many formats.
Exactly. Yeah. And your ghost is great. So I
Yeah.
hope she stays with you.
I
Well,
think
thank
she's sticking around.
yeah, yeah, I think so too. Well, thank you so much, Juliana, and I hope that we talk to you again soon. And if anybody's in Massachusetts and wants to go join one of your races, I think you've sold it to us.
Yeah, you should definitely come run the Cape Cod Marathon if you're interested. But you don't have to. But if you are, we'd love to have you.
Well, sounds great. Okay, well, thanks so much, and we'll see everybody next week. If anybody has a ghost story they want to share, please come on, send me a message, and we'd love to have you. All right, have a great day.
Bye.